I did it, guys. I've become the Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I have some thoughts. Xenoblade is a series I have a lot of love for. I think 1 is one of the greatest JRPGs of all time, 2 is less good, but is still incredibly solid. X is a game I found very overwhelming, and not worth the effort it was asking from me. That's going to be the most negative thing I say in this whole video, by the way. But the quality of 1 and 2 are enough for me to pick up any game Monolith releases. They've long since proven themselves to be amazing developers, and I was so in for this game. A game I'm going to be speaking very highly of. To start out with my complaints, I wish it ran better, but that might be more of a sign of the Switch's aging hardware than the game itself. And that wraps up my complaints. Anything else would be highlighting the smallest of things, and I really don't want to nitpick in this review. This game does so much good that it honestly took me a bit to figure out what I wanted to compliment first. So let's just start out with the amazing soundtrack. Its version of You Will Know Our Names is perfect, and the fact that the song changes when the unique monster has low health is so good. If you watch my video on Final Fantasy VII Remake's opening, you know how much I love it when the music changes with the fight. Oh, and that Moebius fight theme is so good. I said Moebius. It's pretty unfortunate that this game came out in the same year as Moebius. The first time somebody said Moebius, I knew there was going to be so many Moebius memes with this. Every time that choir started in the seconds leading up to the fight, it would suck me in.
No further questions? Then let's get back on the dance floor!
Some of the songs in the cutscenes are fantastic too. Overall, they just popped the hell off. Much like with every other aspect of the game. The combat gets so fun, especially after the halfway point. It's a perfect merging of mechanics from 1 and 2. Like how it has the break topple finishers from both games. They each have their own utility during boss fights, so it's worth your time to build your party up in a way where you're going to be able to do both. And I love how there are 2 different meters with your arts, and you have to choose which one you want to focus on. You can either build up chain attacks faster, or a super form. Chain attacks are super satisfying to do in this game, which is good because if you're playing on hard, you're going to be doing them like 4 or 5 times on a boss fight. Adding the ability to swap characters during a fight is a welcome addition, and being able to fight in water is a good quality of life change in a game that already had so many. The class system is great, it's just the perfect amount of customization. The hero quests were amazing, and I definitely preferred it over the gacha system from 2. And they led to some very good side quests. This game easily has some of my favorite side quests in the whole series. Most of them are just fine, but it has a special group that are amazing. Ionios was a very fun world to explore. I really enjoyed all the little things that can happen around it, like random supply drops where you have to fight the people it was for to collect it, enemies randomly digging up stuff you can pick up, and party members being like, hey, we should check out what's over there, and actually running over there. Stuff like that makes the world feel real, and it's always a smart thing to add. Speaking of world building, the writing in this game is amazing. Very quickly, the game did something, and I was hooked. To be fair, as a big fan of the series, the game could have done practically anything in the opening, and it would have grabbed my attention immediately. But it's still really good. And there's a lot of allusions to the series as a whole. I really enjoyed the story of people discovering their humanity and fighting to keep it. After I beat Xenoblade 1, I claimed that Monolith had Nintendo's best writers by far. Like, it's not even close, and Xeno 3 confirms it. It's like what I said about Xeno 1. A lot of the scenes in this game feel very deliberate. I think a second playthrough will make this story even better when you have full context of everything. The cast is well-rounded. You really get to know these people, their hopes, their fears, More so than most games, I feel like I really understand where these guys are coming from. And they get very introspective on their situation and themselves. There's some characters I didn't really like too much at the start of the game, but as it went on, I started to like them more when it showed why they act the way they do. What people had a huge effect on their lives and key moments from it. The ending is very good, and there's one thing it does I find to be perfect. Oh, and there's one moment in a game that's honestly one of my favorites in any game ever. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a perfect merging of its predecessors in every way. It takes what made the other two games amazing and looked at their flaws and improves upon them. I think you should play the other two games to truly appreciate this one. You should play them anyways, but this is just another reason to. You can definitely only play 3, but it won't feel as good. As someone who loves this series, just loves its writing, gameplay, soundtrack, and so much about it, this is one of my favorite games of all time. This game just pops off so much. It had me gripped from beginning to end. It's one of the best plots in any JRPG. The best way I can put it is when I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, I was around halfway into the game with 70 hours of playtime, and I thought to myself, you know what? I think I'm good. Here, I started chapter 5 with around 70 hours, and I was nowhere close to feeling that burnout. This was my playtime after beating the game, and I'm still itching to get to all the side content I didn't do, and I'm so excited for the DLC. That's why I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 deserves to get my first ever 10 out of 10 on this channel. It is truly the best version of itself, and it is up there with some of my favorite games of all time. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if you're the girl with the goal, or if you think Lance is the MVP, because let's be realistic, we were all thinking it, and subscribe for more bad content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.